going to try and do the heater. Unfortunately, the Haynes manual doesn't document the heater at all. Heater. Let's have a look. HGH handbrake adjustment hinges. No heater. And my Morris Minor manual, workshop manual, is too old. It doesn't actually cover my own car, which is kind of foolish of me. Yeah, the first thing to do is take the parcel shelf out, and then I need to remove the speedo and drop the heater down, and we'll see how we go. I may end up breaking my parcel shelf because my parcel shelf's not really very healthy, but we'll see how we go. Because I'm doing stuff with the electrical system, obviously the first step is disconnect the battery. So I've done that already. The next step is to remove the speedo. On standard cars you have the glove box on both sides, but I've got an instrument panel there. Once you've got the head lined up, don't undo the screw too much, you just want to slacken it. And then, mine's a bit stiff, because obviously I can't actually undo one of them, but you just slide it out, like so. Okie dokie, now I'm just removing the parcel shelf. Now, there are two screws underneath the dashboard here. I've taken one out because I'm a cheat. And they have just ordinary nuts on top of them, so when you take it out, you need to have your hand through the hole where the dashboard, where the speedo is. The next items to remove are the two nuts on each side of the heater. Having removed the two bolts on the side of the heater, it's a simple matter of removing the pipes and disconnecting the wiring. Also, obviously, the fresh air pipe has been disconnected. The bowl is to catch the leaking coolant as best as possible. And here is the offending object. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take the heater, I'm going to tip out all the coolant, and then we're going to strip it down. So as you can see, I've taken it apart. What we've got left is the side panel, which I've taken off here, which is particularly adorable. We've cleaned out the heater, and I've got the matrix here, the heater matrix here, and as you can see, it's rusty, it's bent and battered, and it is full of dead insect. And this is the foam. You can see the colour of the water coming out of this. I mean, this is not a very efficient way of cleaning it, but I'm slightly wary of sticking it on the end of a hose pipe, but I think I might have to go and do that. Now I've just spent a relaxing 10 or 15 minutes outside with a cold tap and a heater matrix, and I flushed out an awful lot of crap. The foam in my heater, which seals the matrix against the side of the case, is somewhat shabby. Knackered would be the word I might apply. So here we have some fine grey foam. I've got the foam cut ready for replacing the matrix, but the matrix isn't dry yet. Now your modern cars, they have, pollen filters and all sorts of exciting things on the heater to prevent it blowing in small insects, plant bits, cigarette butts, all sorts of crud. Now Minor wide meshed grille at the front of the car. But this, for those of you who don't recognise them, this is a pair of tights. Now, as a student nurse, I get through an awful lot of tights, and one of the great things about tights is that they've got a very fine mesh on them, and that can be used to make a slightly more effective filter.
Obviously the first step is to remove the old foam from the panel. As you can see, the foam is fairly knackered here. And then we need to remove any loose rust.
A quick check of the size. Look at that. Beautiful, eh? First time. Then we pop on some glue. And on with the new foam. Pressure point foam to try and get it to stick. Some of the foam seals the heater and makes sure that the air goes through the matrix and not around the outside, which is what that thin strip is. There's also some other pieces of foam. There's this one on the back of the heater control plate, which it has one purpose. It seals the heater shut when you switch the heater off. If you switch the heater into the off position, this should press against the metal frame, and it should stop too much air flowing straight into the car, because obviously there's no way of controlling the fresh air vent at the front of the car. There should be a strip of foam, there was a little bit of foam on here, along here, and that just seals this plate against the front of the heater, so that when you put it in car mode, not in stream, then there shouldn't be any airflow up the front of the body of the heater and out through this panel, which does on mine a little bit sorry. Okay, so what we need is essentially strip down each end, like so, and squid as it goes in. This component here, which is the thing that directs the air, just slots back into the heater. Got foam around the edges here to stop air passing straight through from the fan to the front of the heater. Reassembly is of course the reverse of disassembly. That's all you need to know really, isn't it?
Replace the side panel, making sure that you've got the heater control panel correctly aligned with the pin on the side panel, and obviously ensuring that all the foam is in place.
And once all the back piece is on, you simply put the screws back in. Should be no problem at all. Okay, the first thing I've done, which I can't show because it's now too dark, is I've reconnected the two heater pipes. And now I'm going to reconnect the wiring and then bolt it all back in, and we should be good to go. And there you go.